Brownlow. Thanks for tuning in to a special 1-hour episode of The Chundria Show. On this episode, R&B singer and songwriter KEM talks about his new single, Lie to Me. Candiace Dillard Bassett talks acting and singing and life on BravoTV'sThe, The Real Housewives of Potomac. Falasha Campbell talks media, motherhood, and life after appearing on OWN's Family or Fiance. Mother-daughter authors Dominique Jordan Turner and Kennedy Jordan Turner talk about their new activity book, Little Black Pearls for Little Black Girls. Viral social media influencer Lynn Spirit talks about the challenges he overcame from childhood and using them to be a youth advocate. And 7-year-old London Rose Sellars talks modeling and also acting on Tyler Perry's The Oval and Ruthless, airing on BET. Talking about his new single, Lie to Me, singer, songwriter, and producer KEM is my special guest on The Chundria Show. So excited to feature you on The Chundria Show. Welcome.
Thank you.
Well, you know what? I'm a Midwest girl, originally from Chicago, so I am a true fan of yours.
Okay.
Let's talk about your new single, Lie to Me. I understand you broke a 6-year hiatus with this song's release. What was special about the songwriting, arranging, and any collaborations for this single?
The single Lie to Me is the first single, as you mentioned, from me, the first new music from me since 2014, so it's been about 6 years. Actually, I got the song from Anthony Hamilton in 2015, 2016, and I didn't sit down to set my pen to it until I met my wife. And we sat down and it's really about a conversation that she and I had about being open and about being transparent, you know, in our relationship. So that's really the gist of the song. And it's a good way to start off, you know, 2020 with all this that's going on, to put new music out, a new album on the forefront. So we're feeling pretty good about things.
I love the inspiration for the song as much as I love the song itself. I feel like you've taken us on a musical journey since your debut album, Chemistry, in 2001, and you've made hit after hit from Love Calls, I Can't Stop Loving You, Share My Life, and every song in between, and now you're at Lie to Me.
She knows all the songs.
I'm a fan! Of all of your amazing, soulful, feel-good songs, which one are your favorites?
My songs are like children. You know, I love them all. You know, I think that when I'm performing, I think the standouts during a performance will probably be Share My Life and Can't Stop Loving You. Yeah.
My favorite song of yours of all time will always be Love Calls.
Wow. Okay. I received
But Lie
that.
to Me is quickly becoming my new favorite. So thank you.
Okay. I appreciate that. Yeah, Love Calls, you can't be mad at Love Calls. That's the one that you know, put us on the map, if you will. So that's one of my favorites too.
Your music's been featured in Tyler Perry's Good Deeds, making it the ideal soundtrack for a love story. Do you consider your music to be timeless?
I consider my music to be when I'm creating my music, I'm creating it from the mindset I want the records to stand the test of time, you know, and I want it to sound as good, you know, this year as it did when you first. I want Love Calls to sound as good today as it did when you first heard it in, you know, 2000. You're in Chicago, so probably 2001, 2002. You know, my hope is that I'm making timeless music. That's always in the forefront of my mind. Yeah.
And you're from the Midwest too, so how amazing does that feel too? I mean, you get love from all over the world, but I mean, I know you have a strong fan base in the Midwest. How amazing does that feel?
Yeah, it's amazing, you know, and I'm a Midwesterner at heart. Right now, we're on the south side of Georgia, you know, south of Atlanta, in our place down here. But I still have a place in Detroit. I miss, you know, I'm a Midwest guy through and through, you know, and you know, I love that part of the country. I love the people, you know, blue collar, hard working, just salt of the earth people. So to have, and my career was really rooted in the Midwest. We started independently before I had a record deal. We were, sending records to George's Music Room in Chicago. I was loading them up and, shipping them to him myself, and so we have nothing but love for the Midwest.
I love that so much. Now, it's 2020. How does it feel to continue to do what you love for 2 decades? I mean, your debut album dropped in 2001. I would assume that you're, continually creating, continually having inspiration for new songs, arrangements, and things like that. So how does that feel to be such a major contributor to music for such a long time?
Yeah, longevity is everything. Someone asked me a question today, actually, about what was my greatest, what did I feel my greatest achievement was in the music industry and in my career. What was my greatest achievement? And I would say that having a career is my greatest achievement, right? Having a career in the music business right now at this time and being able to raise a family and make contribute to the community and it's a big deal, to share this music all over the world. It's really for us, the people that work with me, it's really a ministry. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal, and that goes back to trying to make music, trying to do things and put energy out in the world that stands the test of time.
Absolutely. I agree with you 1,000%. I mean, you sing with so much love and passion in your music. So I'm curious to know, who were some of your early inspirations at the start of your career?
Oh, in the beginning, the start of my career, I'm a songwriter first, and I have an affection for great songs. And there are a lot of great artists and great songs that have influenced me, from Stevie to Al Jarreau, Prince, Michael, being from Detroit, Anita Baker was, I was rocking that when I was at home, there's just so much, to pull from, and I've had an opportunity to work with some of the people who I admire, like Ron Isley and Patti LaBelle. So there's just, Shaka Khan. I could go. There's not just one, and when you're listening, if you go through and listen to all of the KEM records, if you listen to the body of work, man, it's like my hope is that you hear a little bit of all of that, when you're listening to the music, so I'm inspired by great music and great songs and great singers.
Well, your body of work is incredible. Your catalog is incredible. You are incredible. And I'm super excited about your new single, Lie to Me. Absolutely amazing to chat with you today, KEM. I encourage everyone to check out KEM's new single, Lie to Me. Of course, visit him at his website, musicbykem.com. Anything you want to say before you go, KEM?
Yeah, at music by KEM on all social media platforms. We love you all. Love to hear from you. And you can keep updated on everything that we're doing. New album coming this year, and as soon as we can get back out on the road, we're gonna get back out on the road. So at Music by KEM, stay blessed, stay safe.
Get to know Candiace Dillard Bassett, an amazing entrepreneur, actress, and cast member on Bravo's The Real Housewives of Potomac. Candiace Dillard Bassett, it is a pleasure to interview you on the Chundria Show today. How are you?
I'm doing very well, as well as can be expected. We are in unprecedented times. I'm sick of saying that, but we are. And, I'm just trying to make the best of it. And I'm grateful for technology and to be able to be with you on the other coast.
On the other coast, all the way on the other side, but that's okay. We're here today, connected. So you're known for Housewives of Potomac fame and The Real Housewives of Potomac fame, and I think that is awesome. I've been watching the show and watching your growth and watching you develop. You're an entrepreneur, you're just a fantastic and amazing person, inspirational, and just learning about your backstory when I got your bio. I didn't know that you grew up in Atlanta and that you were a Southern girl from Mississippi. I had no idea. My family's from Mississippi, so that really touched my heart. Yeah. So how did you get from Atlanta to Washington, D.C.?
The short answer is Howard University.
Howard
Shout out to
University.
them but I knew that I wanted to attend an HBCU from very early on because I did grow up in predominantly white spaces. And, you know, when you become aware of being proud of your heritage and of your Blackness, you sort of thirst for that community more. And that's sort of what happened with me. And I knew that I had lacked the Black experience that I knew would make me whole if I could have that kind of community around me in a consistent way outside of my family. And so when it was time to apply to schools, I applied to many schools, but Howard, and I will say the other HU, Hampton, was on my list. But when I got into Howard, it was immediate. I knew that I was going. My mom, who I was very close to, was not very happy. She wanted me to stay close by, but she was very supportive, and she came up and helped me move in and did all of the freshman things that you do. And Howard changed my life. And being in the Chocolate City, as it is so affectionately referred, it changed me, because Howard is a campus that is not sort of cordoned off or gated off in its own little oasis. It's smack dab in the middle of Northwest DC, and you are getting a DC experience as a Howard student. And that's what I got. And it grew me up very quickly. It made me scrappy. It made me smart. It made me savvy. And not to jump the gun, but it's also what prompted me to write I See You, the original, and then to dedicate the original as the remix, which is a go-go remix, because go-go is the official music of DC. So that's
You're old to DC. You're old to DC. That's so sweet. And so you graduated from Howard, and you stayed in DC, right?
I did, yes. So I have been here for about 15 years. So I'm a Southern girl at heart, but I am probably a Washingtonian now. But I'll always be a Southern girl at heart.
15 years is a long time. They can claim you now.
Yes, they can. Yes, and they do. Thankfully, they have embraced me. But yes, I graduated from Howard. I just never left. And a lot of my friends have similar stories. We all kind of just became permanent transplants, if you will. And it's been amazing. My sister kind of followed in my footsteps as well, and when she graduated from high school, she popped up here, and she is now about to complete her master's program at Hopkins, but she did her undergrad at Howard as well. My stepdad before us did his engineering and medical degree at Howard, so we have kind of a little miniature.
Wow, they're gonna have a wing for you all over there soon.
Right? Right, yes, to work on that.
That is fantastic. Okay, so obviously you stayed in DC, and that's where you met your husband. Tell me the story how you two met.
So my husband and I met as friends, and he was never someone that I saw myself marrying. So that's a lesson to all of my single women out here, my dating women out here, that often people ask me, what was the magic moment? What was the key to you finding your husband? It was being open. And I say that because when I met him, we were simply friends. We met at a restaurant in DC. We were both working at this restaurant in DC, which is now gone, but it was a dim sum restaurant in DuPont Circle. And we hit it off as friends. We loved to talk and hang out in groups. We loved to, we were both dating other people at the time, so we would talk to one another about our relationships. But we just always kept in touch, just as friends. And I always said that I would never, ever, ever date a man who had kids or a man who had been married previously. And Chris had 2 strikes. So, and I kind of expressed that to him in a way without even knowing that, I was expressing it to him. And he said to me later that he knew that he'd never had a shot with me because I was very vehement about, not breaking those rules for myself. Obviously, I ate those words. We remained friends for years, for maybe 3 or 4 years. And then we worked together again at another restaurant in DC. We were both still dating other people. And I was kind of breaking up, and he was kind of breaking up, and I was launching my pageant consulting firm, Candiace Dillard Pageant Consulting, and I would talk to him about, you know, the numbers part of sort of launching a business and spreadsheets and how to set my prices, because he's very quantitative. And when I launched, he wanted to support me by taking me out. And I thought we were going to go to, you know, a bar and have a drink. And lo and behold, he makes the reservation at a very fancy white tablecloth restaurant with, you know, $30, $40 plate meals. And we sat there all night and talked. And then we went to 2 or 3 other bars and had more drinks and hung out and listened to karaoke. We got back in my car and we talked until we fell asleep. And then the sun came up, and we were together from that day to this day.
Made it official.
Yes. Well,
it's on the list. You let go of the list. I mean, that's an inspirational story, especially for women that are single or dating, or you may have these non-negotiables that you are with. Like, I'm not letting that go. You can't have this, or if you have that, then I'm not interested. And so, by you letting that go, you were never able to find love.
I opened myself up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And, you know, there are certain things that are true non-negotiables. Only you can say those things. But obviously, you want a man that's going to respect you. You all want to be equally yoked as far as finances. Do you want to have children? Political affiliation can often be a contentious topic in a marriage. So those things, I would say, are the top things that you want to have in common, or have a yoking of sorts. But outside of that, you know, we and Black women, we have a standard, and we know that our standard is what's going to get us to the promised land. But sometimes the standard can prevent us from getting to where we want to be in a happy marriage. And I had to let some of those things go, and it's a challenge at times, and it was more so in the beginning a challenge, dealing with, you know, an ex-wife, and the children weren't an issue, but just dealing with the adjusting to
mm-hmm.
all of it.
His entire world. You have to accept his entire world.
Exactly. And you know, some people have more trouble than others accepting things. So that was a bit of a challenge at first, but you know, you work your way through it, and you lean on each other. And you try not to let outside factors permeate your bond. And that's what we really become experts at.
I think that Southern love, where you were able to embrace him and care for him, care for everybody, respect him, to have compassion for his situation, and see beyond that. So I love that. I'm happy for you all, and congrats on your upcoming anniversary this summer.
It's crazy.
Yes. All right, let's talk about the Real Housewives of Potomac. What is it like being on set? Like, you know, we see the world and it's all edited and put together, and, you know, the promos and whatnot, and, you know, producers are driving this thing. But what is it like for you being on set?
Well, we don't call it set. Because it's reality, we are just in our lives.
Okay.
So they don't even like to refer to them as scenes. But, you know, when you're watching the show, it's like, well, in that scene where Giselle and Karen were, you know, shooing away to the mine, it is a scene. But they're moments. So being a part of the show and being, you know, in those moments, at first, it was a little nerve-wracking. I have an acting background, so I was used to, you know, being around cameras and being around a lot of different people and having people come in and, you know, tell you to move over here, or we got to stop to change this light. That stuff I was used to, but this is different because it's, you know, I'm not putting on a character. I'm the character. It's me. It's my life. It's my personality. And it's kind of left open and vulnerable for the entire world to criticize, and that is difficult. But being in the moments, you kind of just go with it. And now that I'm, you know, I've wrapped my 3rd season, which is unbelievable. It's come naturally to me, and I think more so than me, it was more of an adjustment for my husband, for Chris, because he was not used to this world. So, you know, being in a scene or being in a moment, and, you know, a producer comes in and says, so this isn't really working. Like, you seem uncomfortable. We want you to be comfortable, and having us, you know, warm up and kind of get used to the moment. That was an adjustment for us, but especially for him. But outside of that, it's a, you know, they come in, they set up, and we're usually talking before cameras even go up.
Okay.
So it's very natural, and you just kind of ease into it.
And then there's a whole crew, and then you know, team there. So it's a house. You know, people are just invading your house.
It's a house full of people. that is, but they're very respectful.
Right.
You know, what I can say about our crew is I've never had a negative experience with anyone on our crew. Our producers are amazing. They wear booties on their feet, so they're not tracking dirt into your house. You know, is it okay if I move this, or can I do this and put this here?
Oh,
they're very respectful. Yeah, so that's you know, I attribute that to, you know, our staffing. Our production company, Truly Original, is great, and they employ wonderful people.
Did anything happen on, like, while they're not on set, but anything happen, you know, during filming that we may not have gotten to see? Like behind the scenes or in front of the scene?
Yeah, well, a lot of things. How much time do we have? Yeah, you know, we film hours and upon hours of footage. And I always say this because we film so much, and then it's whittled down to 43 minutes per episode. There are hundreds of hours of footage that you don't see, that you sometimes never see. Sometimes they kind of compile it and make a blooper reel, or like Atlanta Housewives just did a Secrets Revealed episode where they basically show footage that was not seen during the season. Can I reveal anything? Well, I can't talk about anything happening in season 5 yet, because as you all know, our season was pushed back, which is really unfortunate. It sucks. So I have to hold off on discussing anything that happened in season 5. But I can tell you that, yes, there are a lot of things that you don't see that happen behind the scenes that sometimes becomes a hindrance to the storyline and to the narrative that's being told, because things are left out. Things kind of, it can make a moment disjointed, and then we are sort of forced to, you know, present those facts. And at that time, a lot of times our producers will flash back to the thing that was not seen, and there will probably be some instances of that in this season. But
so you may have to later defend as well.
Exactly. Yes.
Do you have any regrets about anything that you've done or said on the show?
This is always a question that I get, and my answer is, I always think about it, and my answer is always no. Because, and you know, I've had some pretty wild and crazy moments. I've had some contentious moments. I've had some really emotional moments on the show. And you know, I can't really think of anything, regardless of how contentious it might have been, that I would take back, because I try to live authentically, and in the moment, that's how I felt. And that's, you know, that was my emotion. That's where I was. And even, you know, going back and watching things play out, and that's the gift and the curse of the show, is that most people don't get to see what they said and did play back live in living color for the world. So to get to see it play back, you really do get to say, wow, that was a powerful moment, or wow, that was probably really dumb, or that maybe I would have said that differently. So in that regard, yes, there are certain things that I might have communicated differently, but I still would have said.
Got it. I think you're very brave I mean, you know, reality TV has its, you know, people can have their opinions about reality TV, but I mean, to hear that, you know, you have cameras, you have crew, and there are hours upon hours of your life being filmed, you know, in some of your most vulnerable moments. I just think that it's a very brave thing for you to do, to be able to, you know, put yourself out there, put your life out there, your relationship out there, you know, and regardless of how people feel about it, you're at all times being authentically you, you know, and I think that we can all learn from that to be more authentic.
Yes.
excited to feature you on the show, Falasha Campbell Niante. How are you today?
I'm well. Inside, you guys made me dress up today. I haven't dressed up in weeks. So I'm like, oh my God, what to do? I'm good.
You look amazing, and thank you for your time today. Let's dive right on in. How has married life and motherhood been since your appearance on Owned Family or Fiance?
Well, married life is definitely different from engagement and dating. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's the same. It's really not. It's been good. A lot of changes really quickly. We moved out of the city we lived in, have a new baby. So things are changing pretty rapidly, just adjusting to the change of my life right now and adjusting to everything that's on my plate right now. But married life is good. And of course, family life is good.
And how old is the baby now?
He's 7 months.
Okay.
7 months. Yes.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So how you see your family's good. How are your husband, Chris, and your mother-in-law been doing? They're good?
This is good. My mother-in-law, we live actually close by her. So she helps out a lot with the baby. So that's good. We actually moved to Connecticut. So mom helps out with the baby. And, things are a lot better since we appeared on the show.
Okay. Is this her first grandchild?
It is.
Oh,
actually.
How special.
Yeah. It is.
And how's the rest of the family doing that we got a chance to meet on the show?
Oh, everybody's good. Actually, Pastor Kwame, you guys didn't know he was a pastor, but he's a pastor. He's like our advisor.
Okay.
Yeah, he is. He's our advisor. When we did our counseling, we went to him. So we still do like marital counseling. I think it's good to do some ongoing stuff. Like when you have issues, sometimes in marriage, you see things one way, your husband sees things another way. You need somebody that's not going to be biased to hear what's happening and say, hey, this is what it is. So it's always good to have that person. He's that person for us. My mom is doing really good, and my brother and my sister-in-law as well. She's in Texas right now. So everybody's good. The family's good. We're actually all just on a Zoom call. Like everybody's home. So we have to catch up.
You're making it work, and that's good.
Yeah.
The best of this situation, but still, putting family first. And I love to hear that.
Right.
In what ways do you hope that your family story will transcend and inspire others to repair the bonds and cultivate their most important relationships?
Well, that's a great question. Our family is very unique. I thought that it helped to showcase that African Americans and Black people, whatever you want to call yourself, alike, we're not all the same. We come from different backgrounds traditionally, and we have different ethics and different things that we do. We're not all the same. So I just hope that my family was able to display an image of American, and cultural, and just allow people to see that us as Black people, that we come from diverse backgrounds. We're very different. We're very unique. Each family, like if you go into 5 African American homes, they all do things distinctly and very differently, even though we do have a lot in common.
Right.
We do things distinctly and differently. And I also hope that our story inspired couples that probably are not getting the support that they need to get from family members, and they still want to push forward with it. Me watching the series and watching other couples, I didn't think in the beginning that it was so important to get the family's blessing or the families to be on board with your relationship, because I was just the kind of person that, whatever I want to do, I just do it. But when you get into marriage, I realized that it is important, because those people are going to actually be a support system for you when you have your children. So it's always great to keep that bond and keep those connections strong. So I'm hoping that our stint on the show was able to showcase that and help couples that are struggling, that say, you know what, we're just going to do this anyway, to really find that third party or find someone to kind of join them together or get on the same page in some way, same shape or form before they move forward.
Absolutely. I love that you all are an inspiration to people all over the world. Now, you're no stranger. I did some digging on you. And I see that you're no stranger to media. So shout out to my fellow media girl on the line.
Yeah, I was like, I love this thing. I love this show. I love the show.
Shout out to the media girl. I checked out
Right.
your YouTube and your Instagram, and you are just winning at life. So since you're no stranger to media, being on screen, how did it feel to watch this appearance on television?
It was very emotional for me. We had like a screening that we were gonna all watch together, but I cheated and I watched before because I had to see what happened. So it it was kind of emotional, and it was it put me like, I felt vulnerable watching, not when I was there taping, because when I was there taping, it was just like natural being in front of the camera. I know you probably feel like the same way, but watching was kind of like kind of cringeworthy some parts. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'm a natural in front of the camera, but watching it was just kind of a different aspect to it, because it's my real life. You know, you're putting your real life on Front Street. A lot of people ask us like, oh, you know, why did you put yourself out there? I really didn't think too deep on it like that. We just saw the opportunity to say, you know what, we're in this predicament, let's do it. I didn't know it was going to be such a big, you know, thing, which it was, but I'm thankful for it because it definitely helped to strengthen the bonds with our family. So yeah, it was quite an experience. Quite an experience.
As the viewers, do we miss out on a lot of what went down?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. Because that's why I was so scared to watch. Because
you didn't know what they chose.
It was a lot of things that they didn't air. Like a lot of things that they didn't air. So of course, a lot of the times we watch like, you know, the Love and Hip Hops and those shows, and we're like, you know, are they like putting things together? They actually do. So you have to be really careful. Like when you sign up for reality TV, they can, not that they're changing your words, they can only use what you give them. So if I don't give them, you know, they can't use it, but they're always going to use the footage that you don't want them to use. So maybe that moment that you broke down, I broke down a lot of times in the show, I was shocked. Maybe that moment when you broke down, or I shared things that I didn't want to share, and things came out that I wasn't expecting to come out, they're going to use that.
Or they won't put the whole thing together. Because I had an opportunity to be on the Steve Harvey show years ago on his dating segment. And the lady asked, she was like, what are some of your deal breakers? And I gave her a laundry list of my deal breakers. So they only used like the laundry list of what I said. Like, no, I was like, you know, faithful, independent, like I had all these things. But they
can use the negative.
They use the part where I said no short guys, and they use that in our promo. So like they kind of dragged me on the internet a little bit because I said no short guys. It sounds like I was like being like, no short. I'm 5'9", like cut me some slack. You know, I don't want a short guy. You know?
I totally get that. Totally I'm happy that you experienced that. So at least now you know. Like,
that's why I wanted to know. Like I felt like they probably did leave.
It was a lot taken out. Like my husband apologized to his mother twice on the show.
Wow.
Right after he apologized right away. He apologized twice and they cut it out. And then we went to the reunion, we said it again, like he apologized and they cut it out. So it's whatever story they want to tell. So they have their idea. They see your story and they say, we want to tell this story. We want this person to be the bad guy. We want this person to be, and they play it that way.
Right.
So reality TV is tricky. I don't think I would do it again. As far as like with my family on the front line, I don't think I would do it again.
Okay. You're like, let me just stick to my media life.
Yes, absolutely. I have creative control to control my narrative.
What was that? Falashology?
Falashology.
Yeah. I tried. Okay. So you said you wouldn't do it again with your family, but of course you are always open to opportunities like this for yourself. So what would you say what were your takeaways from this experience?
My takeaways were producers are very tricky. You have to be careful what you tell, because I'm a free talker. Like I'm a natural talker. So that can work against you on television, because they call you and they ask you questions, you think they really care, but they're just using it to drop. Like literally, we got a call yesterday from the production company. And like, how are things going in quarantine? You guys have any problems? Like they're checking on us. Listen, they're checking on us, but they also want to hear something that they can use and then say, oh, we want you guys on. You know, drop it. So I know, I'm happy that I experienced that, because I know how TV works. Like you just said, you want to see Harvey, just for that one moment they use that, so you have like a antenna up. But reality TV, I don't know about it. I saw a show, Love is Blind. I told my friends to go on that show because that looked like a pretty cool show to go on. Certain things look like they're pretty cool, but then again, I'm just like, gotta be careful, especially when it's your family. You don't want your family to be on the chopping block for other people's entertainment. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I felt. So other TV opportunities, just reality TV, I don't think so. Okay, I understand. Well, let's talk about you then. Since you know, okay,
we'll leave the family out of it, but for you, what's your favorite part about being a journalist and a content creator?
Well, I love telling stories. Like I said, I'm like a natural talker. I like this. I love this. I love talking to people. I like telling stories. I like spotlighting African Americans doing like great things. I started out about 5 years ago doing a faith-based show. I used to do a lot of faith-based content. I still do, but it's the foundation of what I do. But I kind of want to broaden it more, talk about social injustices, things that are going on in the community, the educational system, talking to superintendents, people like that. So I kind of want to get into the community and talk to real life people, not just like famous faces. It's good to have a famous face, you know, every now and then. Mm-hmm. But you want to talk to the everyday people that are kind of out there doing the work and how we can bring change to the world. Because like, what else are we like here doing? You know? So that's really what sparked my interest in journalism pretty early on. I didn't even know it was like a media thing. I just like, and it kind of took on a life of its own. I started doing red carpets and stuff like that. So I'm trying to gear away from that now and just kind of focus on, like I said, essential stories that affect our communities and try to be like a change agents for solutions and talk to people that have solutions and how can we drive these solutions in our communities. So yeah, and I'm a teacher, so that's like my day job. Okay. So that's where Spark, like, we have a lot of stuff in our communities that need to be fixed. Like, you know, who's going to be out here kind of being an advocate for that? So that's really what started me in journalism.
Well, I love it. You're such an advocate, not only for the community, but for the youth. And it sounds like for people in general. So, you know, kudos to you for the work that you're doing in life, you know, and the work that you will do.
Dominique Jordan Turner and her 11-year-old daughter, Kennedy Jordan Turner, as we discuss their amazing inspirational activity book, Little Black Pearls for Little Black Girls.
Black girl books, and I bought them all. And so at this point, we said we're just going to add to that library by creating a house.
So that's what initially inspired the idea for you two to come together and create something for little Black girls.
Yeah, do you want to say more about it, Ken?
Well, it's really laid out. On the left side, there's a photo of an image that I drew. And on the right side, there's a quote by a famous Black girl and a do together activity. And also on the left side, you have the actual pearl and the number of it.
Wow, I love the time and like how well thought out that is. You know, how the pearl correlates with the quote and the activity. I really love that, the way you all put that together. How was the experience for, you know, as mother and daughter working together on this, you know, to be the mother of a beautiful Black girl? You know, how was that experience working with mom and mom working with daughter?
Thank you. Well, first, I think it was really fun being able to get to see my mom do things with me, especially because I realized that she has like a really good work ethic, and I think that's really important because that kind of influenced me to be more productive and get things done instead of just procrastinating and putting it off till later.
Mom, look at this trailblazer. Dominique, I can't believe it. Like,
I'm impressed every day. It's been such a pleasure to work with her. So she's like my business partner now. And so it really has shaped our relationship a little bit different because, you know, as moms, we think we are the, you know, keepers of all the information, right? Of all the answers. As a business partner, you have equal saying, right? And so one of the things that I've really appreciated is listening to her voice and her opinion and her thoughts around this process. And I think doing that has created a greater outcome in the book.
Love that so much. Dominique, I understand you tailored the book to speak life and encourage a spirit of fearlessness among African American girls in particular. Why do you personally have such an affinity for our little Black girls?
So, you know, I think some of the hardest working people that I know look like me. And sadly, because of the zip code that we're born into or the family that we're born into, our opportunities are not equal. And so I dream of a world where people who look like me, what would happen if our superpowers were maximized, right? I think about that. That's what I do all day. I really try and help people to be the first to realize their dreams and their goals. And there's many of them that look like me. That's what I'm excited about. What I do know is that underneath success and anything you want to achieve is confidence. And so if you don't believe that you can do it, you can't. If you believe you can, then you will. And so that's what I know to be true. And I have no greater wish than to have a daughter who believes that she can. And so that's what the book is about as well.
I love how selfless you are in that, right? I mean, you are a mom of a Black girl, but, you know, you were once a Black girl, you know, and that you do have that special place in your heart to see, you know, little Black girls rise and build confidence. So I appreciate that. Kennedy, you know, I looked at the vibrant and dynamic illustrations that were drawn by you. How long have you been into drawing and illustrating?
Really since I could pick up a pencil. I've always liked to draw, whether it's in my school notebooks or in a sketchbook, but I actually got into digital art in about last summer, and I taught myself how to use Procreate, which is an app sometimes graphic designers use, and so being able to teach myself that is really what kind of skyrocketed into the
Wow.
Because that wasn't even the plan, right? So we actually were going to hire a graphic designer in the beginning, and then I realized what an amazing artist she was. And then when we bought the iPad, she said, "Mom, I could do this all myself." She didn't want me to hire anybody. She said, "I can do this whole thing," and she did. I was so
that's that good business partner right there.
yeah, exactly.
No, we don't need cut the budget. Cut the budget.
Right here.
Wow, that is incredible. So Kennedy, how did you choose your color schemes? You know, the details of the characters. How did you choose what the colors would be like? What was your creative process?
I used like as many bright and vibrant colors as I could because those are some of my favorite colors, and I realized it was going to be a children's book, and I wanted to draw their attention into the artistry as well. And sometimes I would use like color symbolism, like if the character was supposed to be angry, I'd give her a darker color or red. But if she's supposed to be happy, she can have pastels or yellow. And so I thought really just having to put those two together is what kind of gave them the really vibrant feel. Because it is a children's book and children have the attention span of flies. So we had to draw them in somehow.
You also had some intentionality around the skin color of the little Black girl too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I noticed that like in other Black girl books that I read, everybody was the same skin color, and there was the one token light skin girl and the one token dark skin girl, but everybody was in the middle. So I wanted to make sure my book wasn't like that as well, because I really don't like that in books. So I tried to make as many different skin colors as I could, and I even gave one of the girls a skin condition called vitiligo.
Wow, you thought about everything, every shade of African-American girl, so that when whoever reads this book, they will be able to see themselves in the book.
Right, they'll be able to see themselves.
Yeah. Love that so much. Love it, love it, love it. Kennedy, I read that you started reading at 18 months and you're still a very avid reader. What's your favorite book, obviously, besides your own?
My favorite book ever is probably Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, last book of the series. I actually used to really not like Harry Potter because I never thought I would get into sci-fi, but me and my mom were going on a trip. My mom got me the first Harry Potter book. My brain was just going, I don't want to read this. Don't make me read this, please. And so then she was like, read it. And so I was like, okay. So I had to read it on the plane. And I got up to 18 chapters on that 2-hour flight. And so that really sparked my love for like reading sci-fi books. And now I have a lot of them in my room. But yeah, I think it was really fun to be able to explore things that I didn't know I would actually like.
And how'd that make you feel, Dominique? Did you feel satisfaction? Like I told you to read that Harry Potter book.
Oh my gosh, it is. What's so funny? So I bought her one, I bought me one. And so I was like, we'll read it together because it was all the rage. Everybody was reading it. Oh my God, when she got into it, like she said, she would basically finish the book. I was on chapter 3 by the end of the flight. And so
the book she didn't even want to read in the first place.
Oh my gosh. She's like, you can do it, Mom. Just keep going. Mom. But,
I love that so much.
I never finished the first one, but she did. She's read the book.
I see a trend in you, Dominique. Tell me about some of the values, high esteem, and education you instilled in Kennedy very early on.
Values, it's interesting. So I knew when her dad and I dreamt about our child that we were going to have a chocolate baby, right? And because he's more chocolate than I am. And so for me, growing up, it was the first thing that came out of people's mouths. You black so-and-so, so-and-so. We have colorism in our own community, and in my family, I am the darkest of my sisters. And so that was the first thing. So I always had some insecurity around my skin color and my hair and all that. So I said, when I have this little chocolate baby, she's not gonna ever wonder, about her beauty or her intellect. And so whenever, as a child, we'd wash her hair, I would just fawn all over it of her curls. We never used the word nappy. We never used, any derogatory words. We just celebrated her brown skin. We'd even have competitions around who's the darkest and how beautiful that is. So I just think self-love and affirmation and believing in yourself is important. I think the other thing that she picked up too is that you finish what you start. And so that's one of the things that I've instilled in her, that we're going to do it, we're going to do it with excellence, and we're going to finish.
And Kennedy, in your own words, what has mom taught you? I'm sure she'd love to hear this.
Mom has really taught me to, like you said, finish what I started. Because she wouldn't let me quit the trombone after 4th grade. And I was so mad. I was like, I don't like it anymore. She was like,
all the secrets, Dominique.
So I was angry. But I ended up actually being pretty good at trombone, and now I'm happy that I played it.
Wow, that's amazing.
There's a beautiful feeling that comes of finishing something, right? And so even with the book, it's like you have an idea in your brain, and to take that across the finish line and see the finished product, to know that feeling at 11, I think just sets you up for nothing but success in the future. I hope.
I believe. I stand in agreement with you. My gosh, you are raising a mogul here. Kennedy, you're an 11-year-old author, illustrator, YouTuber, motivational speaker. What encouraging words do you have for other young girls out there as they live their own dreams and aspire to be great?
There are a lot of times where somebody's going to tell you no. But you have to keep looking for that yes, because it's always out there somewhere. A lot of people are going to say, no, you can't do that. Oh, you're a girl, you can't do that. But you have to push through that and believe that you can do it. And even if you don't get a yes, the only yes you need is from yourself.
Love that. Yes. The only yes you need is the yes from yourself. Look at this person you created, Dominique.
I love it. She motivates me. Like, seriously, when I say that I'm honored to be her mother, people think it's the other way around, but I'm really honored that I get to shepherd, this young lady into the world.
Well, Dominique, we're all here at home quarantining during this COVID-19 pandemic. Tell me, why is this a great activity for families, especially now with the worldwide quarantine?
So funny thing, when we decided to launch this, we launched it on her birthday, March 26th. The intention was never for this to be a quarantine book. We had a launch party planned. We were planning on doing a nationwide tour, and it just so happened that we all got stuck indoors. And the activities in the book actually has made it a great activity for mom and daughters, because we're spending so much time together. Every pearl, so there's 26 pearls, 26 activities, it really solicits conversation that you probably wouldn't have with your daughter. These are questions that you wouldn't normally just ask, and so it gives you an opportunity to get to know them a whole lot better. And I know.
Get to know Lynn Spirit, a viral social media influencer, as we discuss his journey to self-acceptance and his mission to inspire youth against bullying.
Lynn Spirit, I am so excited to have you on the Chundria Show today. How are you?
I'm pretty good, just celebrating life.
Awesome. You've been declared a viral YouTube sensation with millions of people following and showing you love every single day. How does that differ from life growing up in Greensboro, and what challenges have you faced?
I would say it's different because, Greensboro, I was a nobody, of course. I was just plain simple monarchist, and I moved to Charlotte, 2006, and I think it was time to make a difference, and Lynn is already my middle name as it is. Mm-hmm. So, I said, I think I need a new outlet in life. I need something different to spark out.
Love that. And then did you face challenges, growing up?
I did. I faced a lot of challenges, with my insecurity and stuff like that. And my looks, and I faced a lot of challenges like that and stuff.
Okay, and you're so brave and so strong, and look at you.
I know, like, you gotta hold on.
Just hold on. So somebody out there watching, just hold on.
Always, when you think they're not watching, they are watching.
Mm-hmm. You are definitely an inspiration. So from childhood to now, what was the defining moment in your self-acceptance?
Childhood to now, can you kind of give me an example,
Like you said, you grew up with insecurities as a child,
Okay.
You were different.
Well, I would say, from let me see, how can I put this? From childhood to now. I guess because I was, in my childhood, of course I was born different. I look different and people understand different. And from now, I just kind of basically took my negative looks that I didn't like about me and turned it into a positive. If people want to point and laugh at me, why not do it together? Why not turn this into a positive and make fun of it and make it laughable, for people to say, hey, this person is different, but he's laughing at himself, so we all can laugh with him. Let's laugh together.
So don't feel sorry for me. I'm good. I'm great.
No, don't feel sorry for me. No.
I'm amazing.
and you got to be different. You got to be different.
What would you say to your younger self? Years later, what would you go back and say to yourself?
I will go back and say that. Ooh, that's a good question. I will go back and just say that it's a lot, in life. It's a lot in life that's gonna beat you up and beat you down. But be a survivor at what you do. Be a survivor at what you do.
Love that. I mean, we've all had challenges growing up to some degree, and
Yes.
I have a lot of things I would tell my younger self, so I can relate.
And one thing I really support. I want people to really, because people don't like to look at their ugly selves. And we all, I like that's just flaws. Your flaws are beautiful. It's part of your beauty, but social media became so just you have to look like this. But really, if you just accept who you are, I think the next person will too.
Absolutely, and that's what makes you a champion for self-acceptance, and that's what inspires people, because it's like we all have flaws. Nobody is flawless. There's no perfect person. And I love that, you have set out to embrace that. How do you personally encourage the youth who experience bullying, and why is it so important for you to be an advocate?
Because I want people to, when you're being bullied, I'm a survivor, number one, of bullying. And I feel like when you're being bullied as a person, and I feel like you need to speak out on it, talk about it. Go tell somebody. Don't hold that in. If someone's bullying you, fight back. And I do know some people may not know how to fight back, but eventually you do. Your fear is holding you. You do know how to fight back. Mm-hmm. Don't let somebody above you make you feel smaller than what you are, because you're bigger than what they are. They just making you feel smaller. So yeah, tell somebody to fight back and be a warrior at what you do. Don't let them bring your low self-esteem down. Lynn Spirit is a warrior.
And why did you said Lynn is your middle name. Why did you choose that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Why did you add Spirit?
Lynn is my middle name. Okay, Spirit became through my manager. Mm-hmm. This one we were trying to figure out what we were gonna do with names. So he was picking out some names. I said, well, Lynn's already my middle name. So he said, well, let's do Spirit. So we put Lynn Spirit together, and it just kind of made sense. Like, okay. And he's like, because you do have this spirit about you that draw my attention to you. And I was like, okay, well, Lynn Spirit. I need a new start on life. Because my family know Marcus. That's who I really am. But I think I need another side of new life for me.
That's what they're gonna say today. Hey, Marcus.
Right. My family still call me Marcus. They're like, hey, Marcus. I'm like, okay.
Respect on my name. I'm Lynn Spirit.
Right.
Happy birthday. That is so funny.
Okay.
Well, your confidence is absolutely amazing. And I mean, I'll tell you, your personality is so infectious. I understand why the world keeps watching. In your opinion,
thank you.
What sets you apart from the rest of the world? How do you feel about being an inspiration?
I like being different. My style is different. You know, my look, my attitude, my personality. You know, my swag. You know, that makes me different from who I am. You know, and I don't want to look like everybody else. I don't want to look like everybody else. I don't want to wear what everybody else is wearing. I want to wear the opposite of what everybody else is wearing.
That's inspirational.
Get to know London Rose Sellars, an amazing 7-year-old print model and actress. You can catch her in the role of Callie on Tyler Perry's hit TV shows, The Oval and Ruthless, airing on BET.
I got you now. I see. London Rose Sellars. It's so good to meet you.
Me too.
Now you're 7 years old, right? Is it fun for you to be a model and an actress?
Well, it's a little bit, but it's very easy.
When did you express your interest in the arts and TV and film and acting and doing modeling? Did you express your interest in doing that? Or is that something mom and dad, set up for you?
Mom and dad.
All right, go mom and dad. That's awesome. So you've been a model since you were 2 years old, right?
Right.
And you even did a campaign with Disney, right?
Right.
Do you have a favorite Disney character or Disney movie?
My favorite Disney movie is Zombies 2 because I like music and stuff and dancing. So that's my favorite movie.
Okay, that's a good one. Zombies 2. And let me ask you this. Do you have a favorite Disney princess?
Well, I'm pretty much into Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm more like a STEM girl.
Okay, I love that about you. Super fun fact about you. What's another fun fact about you?
That I play video games.
What kind of video games do you like to play?
Minecraft and Sonic games.
Minecraft and Sonic games, that's super cool.
Yeah.
So when you're out with your family now, do people recognize you from TV as Callie from The Oval? What do they say to you?
Well, they say one day we went to Target in Atlanta and this Uber said, "Hey, I got Callie in my car."
So how does it make you feel when people say that to you?
Happy.
Happy? Feel good about the work that you're doing and people recognize you? That's pretty cool to be famous and on TV. Yeah? So you're on not one, but 2 Tyler Perry shows, The Oval, and then now you're a part of Ruthless, right? Did you meet Tyler Perry when you were filming?
Yes, I did.
And what was he like? What did he say to you after he saw you perform?
He liked me.
He liked you? I bet he did. He had every reason to. Was it exciting to work with Tyler Perry?
It was exciting, and I like doing the crazy high fives that he made me do at the end.
Is that something you would want to be when you grow up, or do you have other ideas for what you will want to do when you're older?
So I do want to do a music career.
You do? That's cool. And then would you still want to continue acting? Like when you're a grown up, would you want to still act on TV and films and things like that?
Well, I have another one. I want to be a ninja. I want to play in an action movie where I'm playing a ninja.
Oh, I would love to see you play a ninja in an action movie.
She done Chundria, I know Chundria, he done Chundria, go.